This is what that we have down here.
In Pinellas County, Florida, this is how a traffic stop goes. The snap of a picture, the query of a database, and the match of a face.
This is a positive match of her.
This woman was who she said she was, but often the computer identifies a lie and leads to an arrest.
The last one I had, I was telling you about the girl, she claimed to be her sister, and she knew everything about her sister, but when we took her picture and put it into the system, it showed us exactly who she was, and she had 5 outstanding warrants.
Today, the software is good enough to match photos taken across multiple decades and even multiple genders. It's made by a company called MorphoTrust, which counts 42 states as clients, not to mention the FBI, DOD, and State Department. Jim Albers is their senior vice president. I saw this in Minority Report like 10 years ago. What's new about this?
Well, the answer is it wasn't real 10 years ago. It now is real. And some of our customers actually came to us and said, "Did you watch this movie, Jim? Go watch Minority Report. That's what I want."
And the Pinellas County Jail does work a bit like a scene from a futuristic movie.
Sir, please look at the camera.
Scott McCallum, the head of the Pinellas Facial Recognition Unit, used some innocent faces, his employee and our reporter, to demonstrate how they capture the image of everyone they book.
So now what I'm doing is I'm doing a facial search.
Before cross-referencing it with a massive database.
And here comes back a gallery of subjects.
And the catalog of pictures doesn't just make sure the right person is being booked, it can actually help put people behind bars. In Pinellas County, these pictures have been worth 1,000 arrests.
We've had bank robberies, or where we have digital video recordings from the bank. Our deputies are able to enroll that image into the system, perform a facial search, and get a match back on the subject of interest, typically within minutes of the occurrence if they're there on scene.
But since not every bank robber has a mugshot and a match can only be made with an existing photo, some states have found another, potentially controversial place to build their photo catalogs, at the DMV. Today, 26 states are using our license photos when they search for suspects.
If you give up a biometric willingly.
You say willingly, but it could be getting a driver's license.
Yeah, absolutely. That's willingly. You opt in.
So the price to drive a car in most states
is giving up a biometric. That's right. But
is that really voluntary?
I believe it is.
So people could just choose not to drive cars?
They could.
They'd probably also have to choose not to get on a plane or buy alcohol, since a non-driver ID would go in the same database.
You could also make the argument that we don't force you to leave your home every day to go buy a pint of milk. And so if you stay home, then you won't actually have your image picked up by cameras and then stored and recalled. So you have the option of remaining in your home all the time.
Laura Donohue is a law professor at Georgetown.
The reason these types of recognition systems matter is it changes our ability to walk through public space with any anonymity whatsoever.
As a law-abiding citizen, do I have a right to move through public spaces anonymously?
Sure. Yeah.
Is there a risk that this technology could infringe on that right?
Infringe on that right. I mean, when you walk through a public space, you have the right to be anonymous, I believe. Your question's a very difficult one. Am I giving up my privacy by walking by a camera? The answer is, I guess it is.
Are these questions you guys wrestle with at all?
The privacy questions? Yeah. Well, certainly as an individual, I think about
it. Care to expand?
No.
Care not to expand?
Yeah, no, not really.
Lawmakers have also been slow to weigh in, and the Constitution provides little protection since the Supreme Court has repeatedly found we don't have an expectation of privacy in public spaces.
And so anything that's in public view is considered essentially fair game and not protected by the Fourth Amendment.
All the same, the FBI has insisted their new state-of-the-art database will be limited in scope, as they told Leslie Stahl last month on 60 Minutes.
Will you have a picture of every single American?
No, absolutely not. Just people who have been arrested. There's maybe no legal barrier, but no legal authorization.
You couldn't just do it because
no, ma'am.
You wanted to.
I would have lawyers lining up outside my door.
And that takes us back to Pinellas County, Florida, where deputies continue to snap the pictures and build the database the feds can't or won't.
My concern isn't so much that the states have gone off on their own, but that the federal government is using the states to help populate their databases. At a local level, a police stop and somebody stops somebody, they collect biometric information which can then be funneled back to the federal government. This area of the law has received very little focus, and it's about to come of age in terms of the technologies that are being developed. So it's particularly important for states and for Congress to take a look at this now before it gets so far away that it's too hard to rein it back in.